Okay, so the game just being died. So I'm going to have to quickly... Yeah, looks like I got everything here. Okay. Talk. Argument. Yeah. Okay, we returned to this point. Luckily, it wasn't that much problem with me, Commander White. Okay, what's in here? The problem. I saw you work through. Do I have to spell it out for you? Or does your boss not tell what she gets up to? Yeah. I've seen that woman do all kind of shady shit. In the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. Another crook. It's the same. A successor for the devil of defense attorneys. I'm not Ruby Tamora. It doesn't matter if the rumors are true or not. Regardless of what you've seen her do, I'm gonna run an honest case. Look, kid, I'd like nothing more than to believe you. But after I've seen what I've seen her do, I know better. I have no reason to trust you. Anyone taught by that woman can't be more than a crook. Nothing I've given... You see my... Nothing I've done has given you a reason to suspect me. Right now, I'm just a defense attorney that's asking you for information. Nothing I've done has given you any reason to suspect me.
Hell yeah. I don't need a chat.
You just want some info, right? Yes, that's all I'm asking for.
That was unnecessarily bombastic.
Alright, I'll answer your questions. Just don't make me regret this. You successfully persuaded Orm White. Murder weapon. Probably goes without saying, but I don't believe that sword is the murder weapon. Right. Well, I guess you have to prove that someone else put the sword there. Did the Inquisition find anything else suspicious on the scene? If you're asking me if we found another bloody weapon around, we definitely didn't. That would have been a little too convenient, would it? Well, let's just say that the girl really is being framed. If there was another murder weapon, the killer would probably walked out with it. Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? Doubt it. After the trial, Steelwind turned the place upside down and scanned it with her magic. Someone did hide a murder weapon here. They hid it well. Or they hid it in plain sight. I can't believe you made such an obvious mistake during your investigation. Oh, shut it with that. I already got an evil from Stillwind about that mess. Well, you don't have to worry about me mucking things up. Stillwind's basically taken over the entire investigation. Wait, does she have authority to do that? Normally she wouldn't, but I know better than to go against orders from a noble. Right. There's definitely a strange power dynamic between them. But honestly, that girl sweats the details too much. She's even had my men drop stale crime map of the crime scene. Hey, really? Do you have a copy? Sure, knock yourself out. Don't you know how much good it'll do you? Okay. Let's see. No. Why do I click on that one? Squares 5 feet. Okay. Neither do I. How are you stealing? I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. A pain in my ass is what she is. The dumb noble here comes here telling me how to do my job. I have honestly no idea what she's doing in this line of work. I heard that she's from a renowned noble house. She must be a pretty powerful mage. Powerful is an understatement. Any one of the steel winds could turn this entire town into a glass crater. What? There's no way that's true, right? I think you've found everything you can here. What does it all mean? There's no murder weapon to be found. There's no obvious evidence of another person at the scene. You okay? You got quiet all of a sudden. Alright, just focus. Let everything disappear from the world. To another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to how Flintheart moved before his death. What? What can we tell about Flintheart's death? There is no blood trailing leading to or from the body. What does this imply about the location of Flintheart's death? No blood trail of Flintheart's body. Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. Yeah, I guess you're right. Also, the autopsy report, which says he died from a stab from behind. Probably caught off guard and too incapacitated to move anywhere else. This means that the attack happened at the exact position he fell over. There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. I doubt it means anything, but the shattered body's right next to the body. Flintheart dropped the bottle when he was attacked. From that, we can infer that he was holding it the moment before he was attacked. What's so strange about one bottle, though? It may seem like an insignificant detail, but that detail could help me infer what other elements of what happened during the murder. Right? It's also the fact that the artificers lights were out. There's candles here the moment you arrived at the crime scene, no, we had to light them so we could see the crime scene properly. We thought it was weird too. Girl and her father must have had their argument in pitch black darkness. Didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. Lighting. The crime scene had no lighting during the murder. Ian is outfitted with several lamps powered by artificery. Yep. The argument Celeste had with Flintheart must have been spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this dark. This Flintheart wouldn't have had a lot of visibility. If he was stabbed from the behind, he probably didn't see it coming. He was clearly surprised and probably in too much shock to run away. Also, the bottle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it right when he was attacked. Maybe he was pouring a drink for himself, or maybe it was for a visitor. Either way, the assailant must have been unseen by Flintheart, Kid, or the assailant attacked him from his blind spot, whereas his back was turned. Why would his back be turned, though? Was he distracted by something? Kid, what? What was that all about? Sorry, sometimes I just get lost in my own thoughts. Yeah, well, cut it out. Freaking me out. Right. Anyway, you think you found everything you can here. You should move somewhere else. Okay. I will do as see fit. You may be a Steelwind, but this is my land. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're that defense attorney from the trial. I am. I'm sorry, but who? Ah, how rude of me. My name is Lord Garrick Pierce, the ruling noble of this land. As the ruling noble, I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial, as misguided as it may be. I suppose you also think my client is guilty? It does not matter what I think. This entire scam has done nothing but rile up the common folk. Magic is a gift for nobility and nobility alone. It is a symbol of the aristocracy and our divine right to rule. And that bastard child has tainted that symbol in the public eye. All of that has nothing to do with her. She's an innocent sibling who got wrapped up in all this. A woman who got wrapped up in all this. Even if she's innocent, the charges have been laid. Someone must take the fall, lest the public accuse the justice system of corruption. So you're saying she should be found guilty even if she's innocent? What do you suppose will happen if she's acquitted? All the public will see is a mage going free despite a myriad of evidence. That alone would be enough to call this public outrage. Tensions between The aristocracy and common folk are high enough as it is. What is the one insignificant girl when compared to the stability of our great kingdom? That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Pierce. I can't refute what he said, but I don't agree with it. What? Systems should be based on truth and justice, not public opinion. That... Then why are you working against my client? Doesn't matter. Do you honestly think she's the kind of person that would kill her father? It doesn't matter what kind of person she appears to be. The evidence clearly points to her as the only possible killer. But you should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight for mine. It's hard to get a read on that one. Leads to guest rooms. Aside from the rooms that you and Miss Tamara used, they don't look like they've been open for quite some while. There's a door at the end of the hallway. It looks like it's seen some use recently. I tried to open the door, but it seems to be locked. Perhaps someone might have a key to open it. There are some candles lighting up the hallway. They look like they used to be part of old architecture. Back. Move. No, you're just going there. Move to location. You return to the cell Celeste is being kept in. The ambient despair in the air fills your mind like a horrendous stench. You will do the best to ignore the emotions of the other prisoners, but you haven't had much practice blocking out this many people. As you arrive, you see Celeste huddled down in the corner. As soon as she sees you, her dour mood seems to lift, if only for a moment. Oh, hi, Mr. Cuthbert. There's no need to address me so formally. Just call me Tyrion. Okay. Anyway, I came here to ask you some questions about the case. Right. Lit torches are hanging on the wall of the cell. It seems a bit irresponsible to put potentially harmful item in here with the prisoners, but perhaps the Inquisition doesn't care about that. There's only one locked door that leads into the cell, and it seems to be locked by some kind of magical mechanism. The cell has a barred window. Even if prisoners somehow broke through the bars, there's a 3-story drop to freedom. Trial. I'm sorry for freezing up like that. I almost lost this trial. No, there's no need to apologize. You did great. But it was only thanks to her. If she hadn't calmed you down, who knows what would have happened. But I still don't understand, though. Why were there traces of magic on my dad's body? Right, there's traces of magic on the sword and the body. Magical traces are particulate particles of magical residue that are left behind when a mage casts a spell. Only linger around for 48 hours, and that gives you a rough timeline of when and where the spell is cast. Did you cast Mage Play on your sword that day? I did. I cast it when I trained in the morning. That explains why there was a trace on the sword, at least. Does the trace on my sword leave the magical trace on my dad's body? No, magical traces can't be moved around physically. For a spell to leave a trace, it has to be active when the physical contact is made. Really? What does that mean, then? Well, whoever killed your father had a transmutation spell active on it at the time. The magical trace on your sword was just an unlucky coincidence. I can't believe this. Could you tell me more about your father? Sorry, I know this must be difficult after everything that's happened. No, it's okay. If it helps you, I'll try my best to answer your questions. Were you too close? We were. I'm sure you know this by now, but I was adopted by him and Mum. But even though I didn't have their blood, they treated me as if I did. He loved me with all his heart until what? Does that have something to do with the argument they had? Could you tell me about what happened? For as long as I can remember, my dad hated mages. I'm sure why, but if you even mentioned magic around him, he'd fly into a rage. So I hid my magic from my family. But why even learn magic in the first place? If you really wanted to, could have gone your entire life without using it. Ever since our tavern's closed, my family's been in a lot of debt. I decided to become a mercenary and use magic to enhance my ability to fight. Most mages are in the nobility, so people will pay a lot for a sellsword who can use magic. So that's why she's a mercenary. But no. Learning magic was the biggest mistake I've ever made. On the night, my dad found my spell compendium, and he confronted me about it. I finally came clean to him. That's when he flew into another one of his rages. Shouted at me that I betrayed him and his family. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine how that must have felt. I deserved every bit of it. But I knew how much he hated magic, but I learned to use it anyway. He showed me so much love, and I just threw it all away. Don't say that. I'm sure he still loved you. I could see it in my eyes. Died here, didn't he? Feel a sharp pain chest as you see that thought. Locked door. So there's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. But I just wanted to investigate it to make sure. Locked room is the end of the hallway. I think that's my room. You know how I could get in there? It's the only room that I haven't investigated. Look for the lawyer. I'm not gonna do anything weird. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, you can use this key to get inside. I am? Who are you? Who to me? I'm Jolene McCoy. I'm Celeste's mother. I was at the trial this morning. Can't thank you enough for everything you've done for my daughter. So this is Celeste's mother. She might be able to tell you more about Flintheart. Ask you some questions for my investigation? Of course, I'll do anything I can to help. Fancy looking bed. Celeste had it custom made. You're really expensive? It was. I was really surprised when she returned from her travels. Apparently she was making a lot of gold from a job as a mercenary. Oh, you and Flintheart must have been happy for her. We are, but I still wish she'd get a less dangerous job. Door leading to the upstairs hallway. Painting of a woman with some sort of aquatic animal. Oh, I love that painting. Celeste brought it home back from her travels. Supposedly, that woman is named Madeline Kipping. From what I heard, she runs a wildlife sanctuary for endangered species. I think the animal in this painting is called a fake-it. Celeste told me she really likes them. That's interesting. We weren't even aware that these kind of creatures even existed. It's a table with several chairs. Must be used for entertaining guests. Look like a scene with juice though. That looks real. Doc. Then I record. Husband hated mages so much. Associate magic with them, but on that night, I think he was furious at Celeste specifically because she was a mage. Happened, but I can only imagine what he said to her. What happened to him? Magic so much. Celeste doesn't know about this, but years ago, Flinard had a sister named Effie. When we were all children, we were friends with a boy named Garrick Pierce. Oh. He was the son of a ruling noble at the time, Garrick Pierce. Yep, that's the still one noble. We were all inseparable at the time. He'd always sneak in the time to go play with us against his family's wishes. Probably weren't too happy about that. Quite rebellious back then. But he's a completely different person now. But everything changed when Garrick began learning how to use magic. One day when we were playing together, he wanted to show off the spells that he learned. He was told not to use magic without his instructor there, but he was just too excited. Gun casting spells, something went horribly wrong. He lost control of his magic and fatally wounded Effie. We tried to bring her back to town. By the time it was too late, she was already gone. Sorry, that must have been traumatizing for all of you. The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. As Pierce used the connections to cover up what happened and threatened Flinhart's family into keeping quiet. After that, the official story was that Effie had been mauled by a wolf. Not surprising. Noble seldom take a responsibility for their actions, even for a mistake like that. Something changed in Flinhart after that. He began sparking out against the nobility. Eventually, he started hosting rallies in this very tavern. Each night, more people began listening and joining in his cause. The known people he'd gotten under his banner was terrifying. There was even talk about an outright revolution against the kingdom. I might explain, but someone would go out of their way to kill him. I knew how much danger he was putting himself in, but no matter how I tried, I couldn't convince him to stop. His attitude didn't even begin to change until we adopted Celeste. Can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become a part of your family? It all happened many years ago, back when the McCoy Tavern was still open. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. We waited weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came looking for her. That baby was Celeste? Yes, Flinard and I always wanted to travel. We thought that Celeste must have been a gift from the Scaled Lord. But one day I saw Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized someone from the nobility must have abandoned her at her inn. I didn't care though. I loved her all the same. I'm sure Flinard did too. But you knew she was a mate with all this time? I did. You haven't known her very long. She's a terrible liar. Flinard must have noticed it too, but I think he didn't want to believe it. It's my fault. I should have forced him to see the truth. I spoke with Celeste earlier. She thinks that her father hated her because she was a mage. There's no way he would ever feel that way. He loves her more than anything in the world. No matter what he said to her tonight, nothing would ever change that. After seeing them together, you figured as much. This was the world to him. When he adopted her, first time in decades that I've seen him so genuinely happy. They must have been really close. More than anything. Do you want to hear a story? Celeste had just returned from her travels. She wouldn't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved. Oh, shit. I think it was called lotus juice or something strange like that. Well, Flinart did everything they could to have it shipped here. He called in a bunch of favors from his revolutionary friends. But in the end, he was only able to get a single bottle of it. Is it really that rare? Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the only bottle of lotus juice in the region. Lotus juice. But yes, it is. No, it's gonna surprise her with it. Found the broken piece next to Flinart's well. Found them in the dining area. Keeping in her room so she wouldn't find it. When was the last time you saw it? Right before I left the house that night. It was right before their big argument. Just laying around in the bar. He decided to retrieve it after the argument. That's what he's doing. Alright, you think you've investigated everything you can for now. There's still one last thing you need to do. Celeste. Oh, you're back? Did you forget something? Actually, there's one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Oh? Earlier you said something that I just can't let go. You said that your father died hating you. After everything I heard about him, I don't think that's true. Father loved you, Celeste, even in his final moments. Trying to make me feel better. But it looks like that won't be simple. An argument against her. Celeste believes that her father died hating her, but after seeing them together and learning about them, you know that can't possibly be true. You just need to convince her of that. Yeah, why not? I know you're just trying to make me feel better, and I really do appreciate it, but everyone knows that my father hated mages. I don't know if it's my place to say this, but there's a reason why your father hated magic so much. What? When Flinart was a child, he had a younger sister. She was tragically killed by a mage decades ago. That's why he had such immense hatred for magic. I never knew. But that doesn't change anything. It's all the more reason for him to have hated me. But I still... I'm sure he was furious. It's selfish for me to learn magic. You didn't learn magic to benefit yourself, did you? Learned it to save your family after your tavern was shut down. You're a good person, Celeste. You did everything you could to help your family. I'm sure your father recognized that. Just shut up. What? Shut up, just stop it. Composure she had before is slowly breaking down. You didn't hear what he said to me? Take a look at this picture, Celeste. A shattered bottle? Lotus juice? Do you know where I found this? On the floor of the family's inn. What? It can't be true. No one saw something. Oh my god. Father knew how much you loved this drink. Called in quite a few favors just so he could have it imported for you. Well, he did that. Didn't hate you, Celeste. He loved you more than anything. I'm sure never the truth. That's not true at all. Just the fact that he bought this drink for you. It's also where the bottle was when it shattered. Your mother said that the bottle was stowed in her room before your argument. Found the shattered bottle in the lobby where his body was. I ran into him before I went to go look for you. He was going upstairs to his room. That can only mean one thing. He went to retrieve the bottle after your argument ended. Why would he have it? Because he was going to give it to you, Celeste. He was going to give you a gift to apologize for what he said to you. He was going to apologize? Father loved you, Celeste. And as tragic as he was, he was going to try to apologize to you before he was murdered. I don't like this. My daughter, a mercenary, some things. You know I can handle myself. Don't doubt it. You still shouldn't have to risk your neck for our sakes. Survive unless I do this. Just be careful, Ida. I don't know if I'd do if anything happened to you. You're our daughter. We'll love you till the day we die. Celeste had barely been keeping it together throughout the whole argument, but her realization is finally causing her to break down. She probably hasn't felt the word. Feeling better? Yeah, I think I'm okay now. I think it's such horrible things this whole time. Thank you. Is everything really going to be okay? I'll make sure that the justice for you and your father, it doesn't matter who stands in my way. Even if they're a man, king, or god, you're completely different, man. You're completely different now. What happened to the nerves right from before? Please forget about that. Take some time to rest. The trial's going to resume soon. That, you've done everything you can for now. You've learned quite a bit about what happened. I just hope it's enough. But even with your investigation, you still don't know about what the prosecution has planned. Has Pierce told you of all the details, Mr. Rudolph? Will you remember them? Yes. I pride myself on my eidetic memory. Just so there are no misunderstandings, I do not approve of this. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. There's no possible way that I could have done the deed. Has to be the bastard child. We don't know what sort of tricks Tamora may play now. I just see this way as a securing a just verdict. What a foolish thought. Hello, Cuthbert. Hi, Miss Timora. You're a lot less jumpy than you were yesterday. Glad to see that you're finally getting used to things. So what did you find in your investigation? Yada yada yada. There aren't a lot of clues that point to what actually happened. Yeah, I know a lot of details about the sky scene, but nothing about the crime itself. This means I'll have to rely solely on pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony. Being reactive to the prosecution move is a valid strategy. Honestly, I think it was a miracle that you got the commander to cooperate you at all. Right, you almost forgot. You have it out, Miss Tamora. Tyrion Cuthbert. Actually, I wanted to ask about that. Did something happen between you and Commander White? It's quiet. Please proceed to the courtroom with your counsel. Let's go, Tyrion. The trial's about to start. You should go. Judge is waiting. Right. Another secret is buried between you two. Order? Okay. Court is now resumed for the trial of Miss Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. Yesterday, the defense presented some shocking oversights made during the investigation. Yes, I personally saw to it that the investigation was conducted properly this time. I see. I suppose that puts my mind at ease. At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense tried to push the following narrative. A third party must have interfered with the crime scene to frame the defendant. However, the prosecution has discovered another explanation. Because of that, the individual who has discovered the body last night would like to testify as to what he saw that night. His eyewitness account will clear up what actually happened. Interesting. It was my understanding that the individual in question wanted to remain anonymous. Supposedly, this witness was within the gallery of the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt that he couldn't stay silent any longer. So that's your plan. But why would the witness change his mind like that? Did stealing persuade him? Or is something else happening here? Very well. Let's hear it from this witness. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name is Reginald Rudolph. I am a chauffeur of the equine variety. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm unfamiliar with that profession. It means to say he's a carriage driver. Oh, I see. But in any case, it is my understanding that you found the body. Am I correct, Mr. Rudolph? Rudolph appears to be writing something in a notebook. He writes with incredible speed. His pen only touches the paper for maybe a second before he's filled an entire page. Mr. Rudolph? Forgive me. Merely taking note on the people in this room. Taking notes. Witness has a certain compulsion to keep a record of every event he witnesses. I see. Soon we will receive an accurate testimony of how you found the bottle. Actually, witness most more than that. I saw the crime as it was being committed. Wrote down everything that I saw. What? That's quite the claim. If that's true, why did you choose to remain silent until now? We had initially concluded that the evidence alone was decisive enough. Therefore, we saw no need at the time for his testimony. However, those circumstances clearly changed during yesterday's trial. No way the prosecution wouldn't leverage eyewitness testimony from the start. Something else is happening here. Very well. Mr. Rudolph, please testify to the court about what you saw that night. I was transporting a carriage and my client in my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 12:28 a.m. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. There I saw the defendant. She was lit by the glow of the dining room lights. She had stabbed Flintart McCoy and was channeling magic into her sword. She removed her sword. Flintheart's chest, and as he slowly turned to face her, she stabbed him again in the front. Soon I realized I had witnessed her heinous crime and fled the scene. Incredible! If everything occurred as the witness described it, then I see no room for debate. Of course, the evidence has always been irrefutable. You don't remember seeing him when you left to look for Celeste. But it was pretty dark. Celeste, did you see that man that night? No, this is my first time meeting him. Didn't see him when he ran out of the tavern that night. So he has to be lying. Does that mean he's the one who killed my dad? Tries her best to hide it, but you can sense her restlessness. Hard to say right now, but it's definitely a possibility. The defense may now begin their cross-examination. Okay. Okay, we already know. Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim, and you suppose I saw her casting magic while doing so. Yes, I can never forget such a grisly sight. That moment was burned into my memory. I see. Well, it's funny that you say that. How so? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. What? Are you accusing the witness of perjury? Surely do you know that such accusations can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert? My accusation is far from baseless, Prosecutor Steelwind. Take a look at this report. The dining room lights are artificial devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell was broken during the time of the murder. The dining room lights had no energy and the room would have been pitch black. Witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. But I can explain. There's no need, witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. Perhaps one of McCoy's lit candles because of the blackout. The witness clearly decides the source of blue light. A candle or a lantern wouldn't emit a color like that. Then the witness was clearly mistaken. The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact time that each event occurs. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? No, what the witness saw was clearly some form of magic. And due to the lack of power, it couldn't have been artificial. Must have been an arcane spell. That's it. What is it, witness? I must have made an incorrect assumption. Please allow me to revive my testimony. What do you think of this, Prosecutor Steelwind? If the witness wants to revise his testimony, then I see no harm in obliging him. And you, Mr. Cuthbert? If he thinks he saw something different, and it's only fair to hear him out. What he does. I remember, yesterday it was revealed that Flinart was killed using magic. I must have seen Flinart's daughter channeling a magic spell. Mage Blade, am I correct? That matches the bloom created by Mage Blade. You fool. The blue light you saw coming from the defendant's magic. There's a cube. Right. You may proceed with your examination. With pleasure. Spells, Mage Blade. Mr. Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Of course not. Are you trying to say that I should have recognized Lost Mage Blade? No, I admit that you probably wouldn't have known about Mage Blade. But that's exactly where your mistake was. My mistake? Mr. Rudolph, if you were aware of how Mage Blade works, then you would have known that the spell emits a yellow radiant glow. Which means the blue glow you saw couldn't possibly have been Mage Blade. This is ridiculous. I'll grant you that the witness clearly remembers seeing a blue glow. But what significance could such a minor detail have? It's extremely significant, Prosecutor Steelwind. If the witness did see a blue magical glow, Then you must have witnessed another spell at the scene. Preposterous! You don't have any evidence to back up that claim. That blue light made a large impression on the witness. He wrote it down in his book. He specifically mentioned the color. There's no way he would have been mistaken about something like that. And even if he was. So what did you really see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene? Casting a spell that she couldn't possibly cast? Or did you see another mage at the scene? Well, Your Honor, the defense has no right to accuse a witness like this. Let me remind you, that perjury is a crime, Mr. Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, you will be prosecuted. No, wait, please. Now that is quite enough of that. Garrick Pierce suddenly steps down from the gallery and walks to the witness stand. He's breaking every possible rule in the book, but no one does in the room moves to stop him. The bailiff looks to the judge nervously, but the judge just narrows his eye and carefully watches Pierce. Pierce, meanwhile, shoves the still flustered Rudolph off the stand and begins addressing the courtroom. What is he even doing here? I will not stand by while you harass my servant. Pierce, we discussed this. No need for you to take the stand. And what, pray tell, did they discuss? Nonsense. I have nothing to hide. If you had done your job properly, then I wouldn't have needed to intervene. First time, Steelwind doesn't seem to have control of the situation. What a fool. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? Who is this man? This is Garrick Pierce, Your Honor. That is Lord Garrick Pierce to you, Steelwind. I am the honorable heir to the Pierce noble house. In any case, I must apologize. I'm afraid that these misunderstandings are entirely my fault. What do you mean? You see, Rudolph wasn't the one who witnessed the crime that fateful night. It was me. I was the one who witnessed the crime. I had my driver report the body so I could remain anonymous. What? Are you saying that you had Rudolph lie for you? I simply hit him what I saw, and had him repeat that to law enforcement. I simply wouldn't do for a member of nobility to appear publicly in court. Lord Pierce, regardless of your intention, very clear act of perjury. But from the look at Judge Place, you can easily tell he won't face any actual consequences. I understand, and I will accept the consequences of that. But I would be remiss if Rudolph's shoddy testimony allowed that girl to escape her crimes. Please let me testify as to what I saw that night. Very well. This is highly irregular, but I believe the court will benefit from hearing your testimony. However, I know that this misconduct will hurt your credibility. Very well. On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep, so I went on a leisurely carriage life ride around Cornhaven. I happened to be passing by the McCoy Tavern when I heard a loud commotion from within the building. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. Then I saw the scene inside. I saw the defendant stab the poor man twice with the sword. Pierce, he's a member of nobility. That means he's probably a mage, right? And he's the only other mage that was there that night. Does that mean there's no doubt about it? He is the only person that could let
the trace of transmutation on the body. He has to be the mage we're looking for. Sorry, this must be a lot for you right now.
Don't worry about me. No, that's my entire job. Focus on taking him down. Okay. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. Then I saw the scene inside. Saw the defendant stabbing this poor man twice with their sword. Seems like a strange way to pass the time. Not that you believe him for a second. Witnesses' eccentricities are besides the point. Matters that he was clearly at the scene. I wouldn't quite put it that way, but nevertheless. I'm guessing this commotion was the argument between my client and the victim. One would conclude that, yes. As we all know, both of them became quite loud during their argument. It's not unreasonable to say that the victim heard them from his carriage. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. Then I saw the scene inside. If he was at the victim entrance, that would mean he was here. It would be quite dark considering the lights weren't operational. If my client was using Mage Blade at the time. Of course, I forgot about the detail. I couldn't see what was happening, so I used my magic to illuminate the scene. You used magic at the crime scene? Yes, I remember it clearly. Conjured a blue light to illuminate the scene. The same blue light must have been what my driver saw. I thought that Rudolph didn't witness the crime at all. If I had to guess, Rudolph must have seen the blue light from the carriage. He must have made that detail a part of his testimony earlier. It actually makes a lot of sense now that you think about it. Rudolph was so sure that he saw blue light. It'd be weird if he was lying about that. But anyways, which spell did you use to illuminate the crime scene? It was Conjure Light spell. Your Honor, crime scene that I'd like for his spell compendium to be added to the court record. I see no reason to invade the witness's privacy over a trivial illumination spell. I agree. The defense would need a stronger reason to question the witness's spell compendium. Right, Your Honor, Your Honor. The wisdom is truly fitting of your station. Oh, shut up. Okay, we're gonna look at the illumination spell. 15 feet. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. Ah, yeah, that's way further than 15 feet. Lord Pierce, you said that you illuminated the scene from the tavern entrance, and you only took a single step inside of the building? Of course. I remember it very clearly. I stood only at the entrance. In that case, I'd like for you to look a map at the tavern. If we take a look at this map, place you right here where the W is. Am I correct? Of course I was. I do not know what you wish to achieve by having me repeat that fact. Well, I find it interesting that you illuminated the crime scene from all the way back there, considering the Conjurer's light spell only illuminates an area within 15 feet. What? The spell's range is irrelevant. We've already established, though the victim would have been illuminated by the Mage Blade. During his testimony, Lord Pierce clearly stated that he couldn't see what was happening. That's why he cast Conjure Light in the first place. However, Conjure Light doesn't work like a normal source of light. It only provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster and no more. If he had stayed at the entrance, his spell would have done nothing. His spell wouldn't have done anything to keep illuminated to help illuminate the scene. What does this mean? Lord Pierce, did you illuminate the crime scene or not? Well, I can answer your question for you, Your Honor. Lord Pierce did illuminate the crime scene of the crime. He illuminated it because he was standing right where it happened. Cuthbert, are you trying to say that Lord Pierce was close to where the murders occurred? How would that be possible? Well, there's only one way this scenario would make sense, Your Honor. That'd be if Derek Pierce was the one who murdered Flintheart McCoy. Hold on for a moment. This is absurd. I could have easily used a different spell to illuminate the room. And which spell would that be, Pierce? The name escapes me. I'm not sure which one it was now that I think about it. You idiot. Well, maybe we can figure it out together. When you relinquish your spell compendium to the court. This is a clear violation of my privacy. Why aren't you objecting to this? If you had listened to my instructions, you wouldn't be in this situation. You made your bed, now lie in it. You still into treacherous. That's enough. It appears that the prosecution has no objections. I must ask Lord Pierce to relinquish his spell compendium to the court. Shaped liquid. Spell compendium. Okay. Simple and harmless visual effect. Okay, that pointless. I don't need that. Conjuration. Remote transmutation. So this could. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Shaped liquid. 10 liters of liquid and form it into complex shapes. Okay. Freeze liquid and solidify its current shape. This case is as good as yours. Or is it? She didn't even try to stop you from taking your spell compendium. You wouldn't let that happen just to spite Lord Pierce. She definitely still has something up her sleeves. But he cast that would shed a blue light. This Grunder is his testimony and many of his statements false. You can practically hear Lord Pierce grinding his teeth. Your Honor, Lord Pierce could very well be a suspect in the murder of Flynn Hart McCoy. The defense argues this presents enough reasonable doubt to acquit the defendant. I acknowledge that Lord Pierce's actions are quite suspect. However, I am not past a verdict just yet. There's much more we need to learn. What? That's not how it works. Prove that there's reasonable doubt. There should be enough to acquit me, right? In another case, maybe. This isn't, but it's different for this trial. The public won't accept an unsolved homicide involving magic. Unless we can unequivocally prove your innocence, court will keep on trying out this case, but not fair. That's just how this system works. Our court system doesn't exist to extract justice. It exists so the kingdom can save face. No. However, court will be suspending the trial of Celeste McCoy until further notice. That is, until Lord Pierce can be investigated as a possible suspect. Up. A possible suspect. The very idea of that is preposterous. Your Honor. Damn it, you knew she was planning something. Let's revisit the basic facts of this case, shall we? Flynn McCoy was murdered using a blade with transmutation spell active on it. Mr. Cuthbert, why don't you tell me this spells that Lord, alright? Preposition, to heaven, you? Doesn't know any transmutation spells that can be channeled through a solid object. What? That can't be right. You're absolutely right, Lady Steelwind. I couldn't even possibly committed the murder. I'm not fucking stupid. Shut the fuck up. I see. Well, with that in mind, he was the only other mage there. Has to be the real murderer. But he doesn't know any transmutation spells that can affect a solid object. Can't prove that he stabbed him while casting... Wait a minute. How did he do it then? That's right. How did he do it? That rune... but none of it can affect a steel blade. Use something else. We still can't conclude that Lord Pierce couldn't have committed the crime. You didn't use a metal blade, did you? What nonsense is this? The autopsy report clearly states that the wound was created by a blade. If he didn't channel magic through a blade, how could he possibly committed the crime? Yes, her claims seem quite contrary to the facts thus far, Mr. Cuthbert. Possibly used to kill the victim. That's going to be shape liquid. See, Your Honor, Garrett Pierce didn't kill the victim using a sword. He killed him using an object shaped exactly like a sword. What? I'm afraid I don't quite understand, Mr. Cuthbert. I'd like for this court to take a look at Lord Pierce's spell compendium. Gareth Pierce knows a seemingly insignificant spell called Shape Liquid. With it, he can control a body of water and shape it into any complex shape he wants. Then he can freeze the liquid, maintaining its current shape. A shape like a sword. What? No. Is it possible that he... Would I have to stay for yourself, Lord Pierce? What do I have to say? You can see his stress, frustration emanating through the eye of Horus. I have him now. Time for the finishing blow. Say, you commoner. I'm not the one on trial here. We're here because the bastard child didn't know her place. She's a peasant. Yet she still learned the arcane arts. And look what happened. Holy arts to murder her father in a fit of rage. Okay, so I'm going to prove all of the murder. I witnessed everything. And how, pray tell, did you see everything? If you recall, you testified that you only took a single step inside the inn. But you would have needed to be within 15 feet to see my client would conjure light. This again? If you're going to keep treading on that one deal, then I'll admit it. I stepped further into the inn. I kept that detail out of my testimony, all because I knew you'd use it to cast suspicion on me. Lord Pierce? But you didn't just keep that detail from your testimony, did you? You testified to the opposite. That makes you guilty of committing perjury. No, I mean, you miserable wretch. Let's not stop there. For your story to be true, you wouldn't need it to be 15 feet within my client. Just finished committing a murder. Would she have noticed you? If you're that close, then you should have surely been close enough to apprehend her. That's why didn't you? Don't you have a duty to your citizens? Shut up! Shut your dirty peasant mouth! That woman was armed. I had no reason to put my life in danger. Really? But that can't be right, can it, Lord Pierce? This photo of the crime scene shows that the sword was left in the victim's body. How could she still be wielding her sword if she left it there? But damn you! Steelwood, why aren't you saying anything? What? Lord Pierce, please pull yourself together. How can I remain calm when this charlatan is trying to frame me? This is a complete travesty of our justice system. Came here to review the truth and testify against that criminal. Slander from some lowly defense attorney. You talk about justice, but you've committed several acts of perjury to twist the outcome of this trial. You're clearly not acting in good faith. You don't care about justice. You just want to further your agenda. So admit it, Pierce. You created a makeshift sword using shaped liquid and you used it to impale Flint shoved my client's wound where the remnants of the real murder weapon evaporated. It was the perfect crime, wasn't it? What? Lord Pierce? My apologies, Your Honor. It's just that I realized something absolutely hilarious. What? Has he finally lost it? He lost it long ago. Defense has put forward an interesting theory. But there's one problem with it. What's that? I think you said it yourself. Shove Celeste within a room. It was the perfect crime, wasn't it? You see, it would have been the perfect crime. It would have evaporated with that frozen blade. No. That's right. You would have evaporated by now. That means nothing left of the murder weapon. You spun quite the tale here today. But in the end, you don't have a shred of evidence to support it, do you? Nothing on me. Isn't there anything we can do? Come quiet. Tyrion? But all it takes is one look at the expression on your face. Any word she had instantly disappeared because you realized the expression on your face is the same expression you made every time you defeated her. What is this? You can glare at me all you want. It won't change the fact that you've lost. I despise people like you. Oh wait, did I miss something? I despise people like you. Huh? You twist the system to serve your own ends. Trample on the lives of innocent people. For as long as I hear, I will never let that happen again. Empowered? What the fuck? What did I just do? What the fuck? You feel an extreme sense of clarity. As if you can see more than you could before. Can't believe the peasant pushed me this far. Once again, you see Pierce's thoughts through the eye of Horus. But it feels different than usual. It's more intense and potent this time. It's almost as if you can do more than just read his surface thoughts. With one nice sword obtain such a thing. I wonder if when the girl is convicted. Okay. I can't believe I used. Well, no matter. It's not ever used it. Lucky that old fool had a bottle of water from the bottle. Wait, a bottle? That's riveting as making my leave. No, wait a minute, Pierce. Now you wretch. Right, Pierce, if you did use shaped liquid on a body of water, the murder weapon would have evaporated entirely. It seems you've finally gotten that fact through your thick head. Bravo. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Pierce. what if you didn't use shaped liquid on a body of water? What if there was another type of liquid? What are you going on about? Well, pure shaped liquid doesn't just work on water. It works on all kind of liquids. This shaded bottle contained the liquid that you cast your spell on, didn't it? That bottle. I found this shattered bottle on the ground near McCoy, and I wonder what caused it to shatter. You must have decided to use any liquid you could find. Luckily for you, the victim was holding the perfect quantity of liquid in his hands. I wonder, Lord Pierce, if we had someone analyze the broken pieces of this bottle, would we find traces of transmutation magic? Well, still proves nothing. On the shattered bottle. Don't have a murder weapon. Wasn't finished, Pierce. What? You see, that liquid contained in this bottle wasn't water, it was soda. So, what difference does that make? Blade of ice made out of water would have evaporated entirely. But a blade would have dried a puddle of dried residue. No, can't be. I wonder why there was a circular trace of magic under the body. If we check the outline of the trace, I bet we'd find a dried puddle of soda residue. That would prove you used your magic on that soda. There's your murder weapon, Pierce. And that's checkmate. Please tell Orm to analyze the crime scene at once. We must determine if this puddle of soda residue exists. Time window to find traces of magic is closing. So we had a team search the crime scene for that soda puddle. Really can't believe it, but we found it. In fact, the outline of the dried soda lines up exactly with the outline of traces of transmutation magic. We checked the broken bottle too. There are traces of transmutation magic on it as well. No doubt about it. Someone used magic on that soda. I see. Thank you, Orm. Please escort Lord Pierce back to the stand. What do you have to say for yourself, Pierce? What do you think you've accomplished here today? Indict me? I'm an aristocrat from the highest echelons of our society. That fool of a man was an insurgent. He was a threat to society. I did my civic duty by removing him. Bailiff, please escort the witness to holding cell. Stillwind. First-degree murder is punishable by execution, Lord Pierce. I suggest you remain silent, lest you incriminate yourself further. Serious. Shut your insidious mouth. Well, what are you all waiting for? Take him away. Yes, take him away at once. I can't believe it. We actually won. Even though that's all she can do to hold back your tears. You don't need to say anything. Your face says it all. Thank you. Thank you. You have more than exceeded my expectations today. Miss Tamora, I'll be honest. When I realized the murder weapon evaporated, I thought the case was shot. Can't believe you were able to turn that around. It was just luck. If you had used water, we would have been done for. It had nothing to do with luck. Be able to deduce what liquid he used. He did it just by looking at a few shards of broken glass. Your skills of deduction never cease to amaze me. That's not exactly true. With Celeste there, you can't tell her about your new ability. You're all quite lively. There's no need for such hostility. Though, I wouldn't expect any less from the Hound of the Eye Taker. I was I must admit, I was hoping to test my blade against you directly. However, your protege proved to be an unworthy adversary. Thank you? Is this some kind of game to you? Talk about some kind of competition. Your actions almost condemned an innocent woman to death. With this parents or balanced, justice prevails. Make no mistake. Your victory today was just the same working as attendant. You know very well our system only exists to protect your people. I know. Huh? In any case, it looks like we'll be facing each other more frequently in the future. I look forward to doing battle with you, Tyrion. What a strange girl. That kind of killed the mood, didn't it? Not at all. I think we should celebrate. Well, where did you have mine? Amazing restaurant in the upper quarter of the capital city. They usually only serve nobles, but they let anyone else in if they have enough gold. Wait, do we have enough gold? Of course we do. Don't worry about the details. I'll handle everything. So began my journey into the world of law and magic. Our justice system is rotten to its core, and I'll have many trials ahead. Regardless, I'll keep on fighting and get justice for every one of my clients. Well, that looks like it will be it for this episode. Oh, never mind. Radiant Soul is finally awakened. I can't believe it. I've been waiting so long. I can't wait for the day when I see his eyes draped in agony. So that will be it. What the fuck just happened? Well, anyway, I'll see you next time, and hopefully I'll have someone else and not just me.